The information about Matt Gaetz is coming out fast and furious now that the House has not necessarily released their ethics report, but they have, of course, released it to every member of the committee. On top of that, on Tuesday, it was reported that a hacker had somehow gained access to sealed documents that were part of the investigation. So that could be leaking really any moment now. But until then, we have plenty of other information to go on to tell us that Matt Gaetz was apparently an even bigger scumbag than any of us could have imagined. Here is what we know so far about what Matt Gaetz allegedly did for several years. And this, of course, comes from the lawyers for several of the women who testified before the House Ethics Committee. One of them, Joel Leopard, his client testified in front of the House Ethics Committee that they had attended between 5 and 10, quote, sex parties with Gaetz between mid-2017 and the end of the year 2018, when he was serving his first term in Congress. They reportedly further described the gatherings as, quote, group sex situations where illegal drugs were consumed and where one of the women claims to have seen Gaetz having sex with an underage friend up against a game table. And that's just part of it. Other reports from the lawyers for the women say that 2 women, at least, testified that yes, Matt Gaetz paid us for sex and they had the Venmo receipts. So here's what happened. During this investigation, when these women were brought in for their testimony, which of course happened behind closed doors, they pulled up on a big screen the Venmo transactions. And they asked the young women, what was this for? And the young women said, for sex. That was for sex. And get this, it gets even creepier, because at some points, according to these women, Matt Gaetz actually used his adopted son's Venmo to pay them for sex, so that it didn't come from him, it was coming from his adopted son, who of course is a grown man, which that in and of itself is weird enough, but whatever. Total scumbag. And it actually takes a humorous turn here when you look at this statement from Matt Gaetz, who of course denies everything. But a spokesperson for Gaetz told the Daily Beast, quote, Merrick Garland's DOJ cleared Matt Gaetz and didn't charge him. Are you alleging Garland is part of a cover-up? Yeah, nice deflection there, right? Like, well, if Merrick Garland didn't charge him, then is Merrick Garland part of a cover-up? Maybe. Merrick Garland is a coward. He was the absolute worst appointment that President Biden made during the 4 years he was in office. So maybe Garland is just a coward. Maybe it was a cover-up. You know what? Let's investigate that. I'm okay with that. Let's look at whether or not Merrick Garland covered up what Matt Gaetz did. And for the record, they didn't clear him. All they decided to do was not charge him. Not charging somebody is not the same as exonerating someone. They did not exonerate him. They simply said, we're not going to pursue charges. And the lawyers for the cooperating witness, Joel Greenberg, came out and said that this was absolutely ridiculous. We had him dead to rights, basically showed all the crimes he committed, the lawyer alleged. For them to not charge him is absolutely ridiculous. But it is what it is. We can't change the past. Obviously, Matt Gaetz, no matter what happens, is not going to be criminally charged in the future, because even if all of these allegations are true, and even if this report gets leaked, and even if they send it to the DOJ and say charge him, what happens in 2 months? Donald Trump gets sworn in as president of the United States. He will pardon Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz will never be charged with anything ever, okay? Put those thoughts behind you, because it ain't going to happen. The only thing we can hope for at this point is that when this report comes out, and it will, it's going to be enough to tank Matt Gaetz' nomination as Attorney General, relegating him to just another person who used to be a politician. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.